know, today's topic is out of the box. And so we are going to be a little out of the box from our regular roundtable discussions that we have here that Westfair does. You know, Westfair has been doing these roundtables for quite a while now, and we've done them in a regular format. How many of you have been to any roundtable conversations? So you know that typically you begin, you eat, you enjoy some lunch, then we hear from our panelists. Well, today we're totally out of the box. So we're eating out-of-box lunches. How perfect is that? And then we're going to be a little out of the box because while you're enjoying lunch, we're going to have a little entertainment for you. And because special events is part of the theme today of how we create really fabulous special events, you know that you want to look and feel your best at any special event. So we are going to have a wonderful presentation by the folks at Red Door Spa in White Plains at the Westchester, and also from Richard's Department Store in Greenwich, followed by a brief presentation by some of the best florists in Westchester and Connecticut, Winston florists, who are going to be doing a little display for us, because we also want our parties and our special events to look beautiful, and they're going to show us how to do that.
So I'm Debbie O'Shea. I'm Richard's personal shopper in Greenwich, and I'm also happy to be a WAG contributor. I write a monthly fashion column for them. And this afternoon, we're going to be doing a couple of great looks just to get you excited about what's in the stores, what's in Richard, what's in Bloomingdale, Saks, did I say that? Wherever you may be happy to shop. And also to see some beautiful hair and makeup on the models that are all people who work with Nicole at the Red Door Spa. Here's Nicole.
Hi, everyone. I'm the general manager at the Red Door Spa at the Westchester. We also want to remind you, too, that the best way to start off the season is to come in and get a facial and massage, get a new hair look, get your makeup redone, and start out the season fresh and new. So we'd love to help you with that, and please come see us. So we're ready to go?
We're ready to roll.
Okay.
Okay. First up is Jill. She's in an ensemble from Brunello Cucinelli. One of the biggest trends for fall, without question, was all shades of plum and Bordeaux. She's wearing rag and bone Bordeaux leather jeans with a Cucinelli shirt, matching scarf, and a color-blocked Yves Saint Laurent handbag. Color blocking was also an enormous trend, and this is just a great casual look. She'd look fabulous on a date. She'd look great running around with her friends in the city at Soho or, wherever they like to go. So take a walk and show everybody how great you look.
Jill still wants to look put together when she's running to meetings or headed to a luncheon such as this one. Her hair looks light and easy with a tinted moisturizer and a beautiful honey cream blush to enhance her natural glow of her skin.
This is Garlene, the absolute hottest #1 color for, she's rocking it, for fall evening wear was red, and another tremendous trend was lace. So we're seeing bits of lace all over evening wear. It's even being shown in day wear. And she's got it topped with a great little fox bolero tied with a satin bow that would even look amazing over anything casual. That's from Oscar de la Renta, and she looks just spectacular. And we love her platform shoes. Rocket girl.
To complete this look, Garlene is wearing a sultry, smoky gray eye. Her skin has a matte foundation finish, and we enhanced her cheekbones and finished off with a vibrant matte lip.
So she's perfectly polished and appropriate for the office. Because it's a knit boucle, it would be great for travel. It would never wrinkle. And then if she needed to wear something in the evening, she could ditch the jacket, put this beautiful paisley etcho scarf over it, and call it a day.
Carolyn looks elegant yet professional, and we wanted to focus on enhancing her beautiful features. She has on a gorgeous autumn shadow with a sunset base to bring out her eyes. We added a thin black liner to define the eye and Elizabeth Arden's Sugar Plum blush. We finished the look with a plum tone amethyst lip.
Well, he's in Brunello Cucinelli from head to toe. It's a great look to have the vest over the cashmere jacket. And the beautiful plaid cashmere jacket is just so elegant. That would be a wonderful thing to wear with just gray trousers, a white crisp shirt, and a great tie to wear an event. So there's nothing in this outfit that couldn't be broken apart and worn with other outfits very easily. And he looks very handsome. And last up, we have Kaylin, and she is wearing one of the hottest colors for fall, which is beautiful hunter green. It always makes its appearance because it's just right for fall. Chunky knits were huge for the fall season, and she's wearing it with an animal print scarf, and we see animal print in every category that's available: dresses, scarves, pants, sweaters. She just looks adorable. So I hope this gives you an idea of some of the great things that are available for fall: the trends, red, plums, burgundies, animal prints, color blocking, and just a great-looking group of people, and we thank them so much.
Thank you so much, and if you want to go over and find out about any of these fabulous clothes or about the fabulous spa, you can see these wonderful ladies. Thanks again. Next up, talking about special events and making sure special events look as beautiful as they can. Of course, flowers are a key component of that, as we all know, and we're so lucky today that Westfair, the WAG, and the business journals have brought together some of the best people you could ever want to know about flowers, and that's Winston Florist on Greenwich Avenue in Greenwich. It's my great pleasure to introduce to you now Emily Pinion and her team from Winston Florist. Let's give them a round of applause. Come on up, Emily.
Just as in fashion, you see a lot of the colors in the Bordeaux kind of aubergine palette. It's the same with flowers. So one thing at Winston Flowers, we're very much in touch with what is in season. So today, we have featured on the table more of the plum kind of aubergine palette. And then here, I'm working with more of the Bordeaux palette. And when it comes to entertaining, whether you're hosting an event or whether you're having a wedding, there's a lot of different ways you can achieve a really beautiful look, and it comes with layers, just like layers in fashion. So you've got the tablecloth, you have the plates, the china, all the accessories that go on the table, but obviously most important, the flowers. So we have some pictures on the flat screen just kind of showcasing some of our larger scale work. But I just wanted to take a minute and show you guys something also smaller scale that can be done, used for a party or used while you're entertaining. One of the questions that we get asked a lot is, what can we do that's a little bit different that maybe each of the guests can take something away and enjoy with them after? So what I'm doing now is just finishing off a composition here with a lot of really pretty seasonal elements. We have hydrangea, we have dahlias, black beauty roses, and some other kind of textural foliages. This is called thistle. So what we're going to do here is, obviously you could take a long rectangular table and line the table with 4 arrangements, or we could actually mass these together, which I'll show you at the end, and turn it into one arrangement where at the end of the evening you could separate and then give to 4 guests. So, and there's lots of tips when it comes to working with flowers. Hydrangeas, they actually absorb water through their blossoms, so a lot of times people will buy them and wonder why they're just wilting so quickly. There's a white pithy center that you have to expose in order for them to drink properly. And you can also submerge the blossoms because they'll harden that way and absorb water through that. Let me just add in, we have some gorgeous Cymbidium orchids also kind of in that Bordeaux palette. And these, a lot of times they're too small to get into an arrangement and stay properly. You just water them, water tube them, and you can nestle them in. So I know we're on a schedule, so I don't want to take up too much time, but something like this would be really beautiful if you had a long rectangular table. You could intersperse candles, you could do a fabric runner down the length of the table. Or if you decided you wanted it on the center of a table, we could actually just kind of combine them together like this. And then take something. This is a 6-inch piece of grosgrain ribbon, which would be really beautiful just to finish it all off and make it look as one unit. And then at the end of the night, obviously this could just peel off and you could just give to your guests. And it's also a different way to change up the look in your home. So if you're entertaining and maybe you've changed your linen, or you want to do something a little bit more unique, you can get even different pieces of fabric and fasten that on. It's just a bit more playful. And it's also great with the seasons, because if you wanted something for spring, you could do maybe a chartreuse green. But here it's just sort of rich Bordeaux, navy, and very textural with all the elements.
So fabulous. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Emily.
Thank you.
So many of us in this room go to events throughout the year, and especially at this time of the year, because this is when all the major fundraising events are happening. And we all know that they tend to get repetitive, they tend to get redundant, and frankly, just among all of us here in this room today, they can be very boring. And so I think the challenge that we all have, and I know that the Westchester Fairfield Business Journals recognize this, is to keep them creative, to keep them cutting edge, to keep them exciting so that people want to come to the events, so that people want to support the events, so that people stay engaged and involved. So the Westfair Communications has pulled together, I mean this sincerely, an incredible team of professionals for you all today. You're all so lucky to be gathered in this room and see this group of people that they've pulled together for you today to talk about how to keep your events exciting, how to keep them engaging and stimulating. And I just want to give a big shout out right now to Dee Bello and her team, Linda Cady, for all of the great work they do and pulling this all together. Let's give them a round of applause, because this takes a lot of work and a lot of planning. You know, I just read in the Wall Street Journal how special events planning is one of the fastest growing business fields in the United States. This just came out in a report in the Wall Street Journal this week. In fact, it grew 40% this past year. In fact, there are so many job openings trying to fill positions for special events planners that they're having difficulty keeping up with them. And the projection is that they're going to grow even stronger in 2013. This is a hot area of business. And it's really important not just to fundraising and not-for-profits, but also from a motivational standpoint for employees, for PR and marketing launches and marketing events, and certainly also, you know, clearly from a fundraising perspective, which we all know. So now I'm about to introduce our panel of experts who are joining us today. So first we have Mimi Klein-Sterlich, who is the founder and owner of one of the premier and creative special events venues in Westchester and Fairfield, the Loading Dock. Give a big round of applause to Mimi. Next to Mimi, we have Joe Gilderston, who is president of the Elmsford-based Corporate AV Services, who has expanded corporate AV to a full-service production and AV company, and who creates the most spectacular AV events all throughout the Northeast. A big round of applause for Joe. And next we have Jill Prince, who grew up in the music industry and now is the principal at Hal Prince Music and Entertainment Company, a full-service entertainment and production company that now books more than 150 events annually throughout the tri-state area. Jill, thank you for joining us today. And finally, Zoilo. He goes by one name, like Cher. Come on in, Zoilo. He's the creator of Industrial Rhythm, cast member of the off-Broadway smash Stomp. How many saw Stomp? It was fabulous. A composer, musician who specializes in producing one-of-a-kind events for corporate clients whose specialty is making music out of just about anything. And he's going to prove that to you later on today.
I had started out in the advertising industry years ago. I was in the creative side. I was a writer. I was a creative director. I always like to think about out-of-the-box ideas, ways to do things just differently than other people to be able to attract attention, keep people's interest, take a simple product and just make it infinitely more interesting. If you kind of fast forward, had children. I had done a couple of parties for two of my children, and I was looking for a space to have an out-of-the-box creative party for my youngest son, for his bar mitzvah. I couldn't find what I wanted. I had in mind that somebody should build something that was like a loft space, but in Connecticut, something where there was a kitchen already there, where there was a game room already there, where we were able to do events easily and flawlessly, but make every event look completely different from every other event. As beautiful as this room is here, this room is going to always look like this room. And we were finding the same thing whenever you went to a country club, whenever you went to a hotel. I found my children going to parties where they'd go to a hotel and the people went to great expense just to cover up the initial decor so they could then use a blank slate to create their own decor. So after looking and not finding what I was looking for, I decided to build it myself. And just with that movie, if you build it, they will come. What was that movie? Field of Dreams. It actually worked. I was barely under construction, renovating a big industrial space in Stamford when people were already booking. It wasn't even built. So for me, that was a kind of really my signal that this was an idea. So kind of fast forward, and what I'm finding now is that everyone that comes into me says, I want to do something different. I want to do something no one else has done. I want to keep it fresh. We do fundraisers, we do photo shoots, we do corporate events, we do holiday parties for 50, we do parties for 600. So I wanted to be able to create the space to make it flexible. So we kind of have big barn doors that open and close onto each room so that you can make the space bigger or smaller. And we wanted to create an environment that inspired imagination. So I guess that's where that comes in. But one thing I would say is in planning an event, there's basically 3 elements to it. Once you have a space, you need some kind of decor. You can keep it really simple and architectural like we often do, or you can layer it. I mean, I've had parents come in with a little girl who wished she was Elle Woods, and they basically created an environment that looked like sorority houses, that was sets. They had actors come in that looked like Reese Witherspoon, and they were just, the whole place was pink, and you'd never recognize that it was the simple architectural space that it is. So we've done things like that. We've also done, much simpler things. We did a Bollywood night for Red Ribbon, and in that one, you would never recognize the space because every inch of it was draped with beautiful gilded fabrics. Thrones. It was very Indian. It was very beautiful. Carpets covered every inch of the floor, so it really became something different. But the one thing I would urge everyone to do is whenever you look to do an out-of-the-box event, I'm sorry, let me go back there. Okay, so decor was one. Not the second most important, but the second element that you need for your party is the atmosphere, which is created primarily with music. So I know that these gentlemen, there's a couple of people here that are going to talk about music and entertainment, and then lighting is really key as well. So lighting and everyone being able to hear everything, understand everything, audiovisual is key. So those are really your elements. And then you have food, of course, catering. Unfortunately, we don't have any caterers represented here, but catering is also a whole...
we do. This is happening here at the Renaissance.
Okay.
They are catering.
Perfect. Okay, so catering. But the one thing I would urge you is that when you look for sources for inspiration to jog your imagination, really look at what the event is. What is the meaning of it? You're trying to keep it meaningful within, if it's a child's bar mitzvah, really look at that child, his hobbies, his interests, his passions. When you look at, for example, a fundraiser, we did something, a great fundraiser a couple years ago for Kids in Crisis. And for Kids in Crisis, everyone comes saying, yeah, I want a great party, but at the same time, don't you want most of the money that we spend to go to the children for Kids in Crisis? And how do you balance that without blowing the budget on decor? And what we ended up coming up with is we made tablescapes out of soup cans. And we covered the soup cans with simple labels that kind of gave inspirational words that meant something to Kids in Crisis kids. And then afterwards, they were all dismantled, and they lined the shelves of the pantries at Kids in Crisis. So
that's
we're able
great.
to...
And I think you did, thank you, answer our question on how to bring imagination to an event, and you clearly have done that. Thank you so much, Mimi. And now our next presenter is Joe Gilderson from AV, and he's going to tell us how to bring imagination through AV to an event. Hold on to your seats for this.
Well, I don't know how exciting it's going to be just yet, but we're going to try to ramp it up a little bit. Our role in all events is really to help people communicate, and that's the way we look at it. There's a lot of different ways to do that. Every event has a different message that they're trying to get across to the audience. And, in this event is no different than any others, to be honest. But what I just wanted to go through a little bit is what it is when people say AV, what is that? Because that means a lot of different things. And I actually do have a little something here that we'll get going. But for audiovisual production, there's a number of different elements. Basically, there's staging, there's sound, there's video, and there's lighting. So staging becomes basically how you're going to set the room up, how it's going to be designed, and where we're going to go from there. In this particular event, this is a panel discussion. We're not sitting at the normal 6-foot table with white linen, with a table in front of us and our names right in front. We have 2 different focal points in this room because we have different things going on at different times. So that becomes an important piece to how we're doing things and how we're going to do it out of the box. You know, I was speaking with Dee earlier today. We have 6 events today. To me, that means that every one of you has had the opportunity to go to more than one event today. And part of that is how are you going to stand out from the other events? And how are you going to generate, revenue or get people to come or show them your new product? And that's really, we kind of piece everything together. We're the glue. We have entertainment, we have the space, we have the food. We kind of need to know all of it a little bit. So as we go through, just run it through, typical AV is not really what we do. We kind of focus on the whole production, which is the pre-planning. It's the thought process. It's the design. And as we keep going through, we create things out of the spaces, just as Mimi was talking about. What do we really want it to look like? Well, it kind of depends on everything involved. As we keep going, with the audio side, audio is very important. Jill is going to give you a whole story about audio. She loves audio, and she's really good at it. But it depends on what it is. We have a number of different pieces to the puzzle. Are people speaking at a podium? Are they speaking from another area? They're going to come out from as a surprise. There's a lot of different ways. Is there, music? Is it a concert? Is there an entertainer? There's a number of different factors. We typically ask you a lot of questions to try to determine what those are. When it comes to video, each one of you probably has some sort of a device on you that has the capability to play a video. You see thousands of images a day. The one good thing about an event is you get to control what images people see when they're at your event. And that becomes very important. Do you want them to see images of the cause? If it's a fundraising event, are you tying the cause back to the money and the revenue you're trying to make? If it's an educational event, are you actually showcasing that information? Usually we do there's a lot of videos, there's awards, there's tributes. Video is a very big part of a presentation. It's also typically the largest thing in the room, so that's also something to keep in mind.
Joe, do you do the lighting as well when you're doing the AV piece of it?
We do, and today that's actually going to be our little show and tell part of is the lighting, because Mimi just spoke about it. She said it can really transform the space, and so we're going to try to cover a few things here. Right now we have some stage lighting here, so you guys can see us. If we didn't have the stage lights on, it would be much more difficult to see.
Wow.
Now, if you are 65 feet away, you really can't make out anything going on stage. So it becomes important. And, just like we highlighted the stage for Winston Flowers and Red Door Spa, you're trying to bring attention to an area. If you wanted to add some element of decoration, if it was an all-white space, or you wanted to do something differently, we add different decorative lights, like we're putting up, blues and deep reds and dark oranges right now. You can do that to almost any space. It is decoration, and it's something that you want to consider. There's an easy way, there's a hard way, but sometimes you just have to work within there's always a budget, so that's the way we look at it. We need to know the parameters, and that's a factor. Last couple of pieces, if you said, Joe, look, we want to create, a sultry New York lounge. We want this to be something entirely different. Then we would use lighting to create that as well. So in this case, we would go dark reds. We would try to keep it very dark, and it really transforms the space so that you can try to take any any hotel room, any conference room, anything. Some spaces are better than others. But in this case, so we added some red lighting here today to try to change some of the space.
It makes such a difference, and I don't think people realize it. It's subtle, but it can change something from being successful and exciting to plain blah if you don't have it. So,
I agree with you totally.
thank you.
I appreciate it.
Hello, little monsters. I want to see you guys put your paws up. Come on, DJ, hit it. Let's go. Gaga. I've had a little bit too much. All of the people start to rush. Love is a twisted dance. Can't find my drink, oh man. Where are my keys? I lost my phone. What's going on the floor? I love this record, baby, but I can't see straight anymore. Keep it cool. What's the name of this club? I can't remember, but it's alright. Come on, hands up. Gonna be okay. Now I do it justice. Spin that record, babe. Gotta do it justice. Gonna be okay. Just dance. Dance, dance, just dance. Wish I could shut my Playboy mouth. I'll turn my shirt inside out. Control your poison, babe. Roses and thorns, they say. And we're all getting house tonight. Hello, David. What's going on the floor? I love this record, baby, but I can't see straight anymore. Keep it cool. What's the name of this club? I can't remember, but it's all. Come on, you guys, jump! Gonna be okay. But I do justice. Spin that record, babe. Gonna do justice. Gonna be okay. Just dance. Dance, dance. Just dance. Woo! Let's hear it for Lady Gaga. Little monsters, my name is Lady Gaga! Thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you, Lady Gaga. I think we've just all seen, Jill, how music and entertainment can really make a difference in a special event. So everyone, please welcome Jill Prince from Hal Prince Music Organization.
Thank you so much, Liz. It's a pleasure to be here, and I was so excited when I heard the theme of today was going to be events out of the box, because I can't think of any thing more out of the box than bringing Lady Gaga to your event. That's a little out of the box. I think many of you that are familiar with the company know us for our bands, our DJs, our orchestras, and of course, I think any event needs fabulous music. But I love when a client says to me, Jill, we're all set, we've got a great band, we've got a DJ, but what can we do to make this a little bit different, a little more unusual, a little out of the box? So I am a fan of bringing an entertainer in to meet and greet your guests. And for example, we had Lady Gaga here today. That's just one of many different lookalikes that I could suggest to meet and greet your guests. And this particular lookalike does do a performance. This was a little piece of what she could do, but this could have turned into an all-out 20-minute dance party with her during an event. I actually hired her for my own daughter's bat mitzvah, and that was a lot of fun. I recently did an Oscar-themed event where we had Joan Rivers come and work the red carpet as the guest arrived. And what was even more out of the box about having Joan Rivers come was that Joan Rivers was a female impersonator. So our guests really had a fun time with that. And it just gets people excited. You know, what comes next? You know, I'm coming into this event. What is this? What is that? So something unusual in addition to music, something colorful, a performer, a Cirque du Soleil type performer. I've worked with some performers like contortionists. They're very interesting to watch. I love living statues. You see a lot of that on the streets of Manhattan, but coming into a party and seeing a statue in the corner and just taking a second look because it's the Statue of Liberty, maybe at a New York theme, and all of a sudden she moves. Oh, okay. Something else that I think is really fun and different for a holiday party, I did this last year for one of my clients, was I booked a human Christmas tree. So imagine your guests' shock as they're walking into your party, into your foyer, and there's a beautifully decorated Christmas tree that is all of a sudden cracking jokes and making comments. So that was a lot of fun. We enjoyed that. Now, of course, I love to walk into an event filled with music, and being from a musical family, anything. I still love a traditional pianist sitting at a grand piano. I love a classic jazz trio. That does set the tone for an event. But if you're thinking of something a little bit more unusual, an electric violinist is something that's kind of new and on the scene. Somebody just sitting there wailing on the violin and not really just playing Pachelbel's Canon and Bach, but more like Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith. So that's fun. And I'm trying to think some other unusual music. Oh, I would say an a cappella group. A cappella groups have become more and more popular. I think there was actually a reality show last year called The Sing-Off, where they were looking for the best a cappella group in the country. And I think it's a wonderful way and a sort of an out-of-the-box way to greet your guests in song. So your guests will arrive, you'll have a few guys and girls singing in harmony. People generally like to sing along, and these a cappella groups can also mingle throughout your party. Let me think. Something else I do like. I love working with themes. I think that all themes are fun, whether it's masquerade or a 70s theme or an 80s theme. But to make it a little bit more out of the box, try to think of a theme that's out of season. And what I mean by that is, what about having a tropical themed party in the middle of the winter? And I can get you a calypso band with steel drums that are much better priced in the winter than in the summer. But that's a lot of fun. We did something like that last year, and the guests came in summer attire. We had a calypso band with steel drums. We had professional limbo dancers. We had fire eaters, and that was certainly a way to warm everybody up on a cold winter's night. So
Really out of the box.
that's out of the box.
Totally, yeah. Jill, I can't thank you enough. I mean, we've just seen the importance of the space and venue. Oh, my God. Oh, is he all right? Is he all right? Excuse me, could someone, go over and help? Oh, my God. Wow. Anyway, we were talking about the...
Oh, that out of the box for you? I said, is that out of the box for you? How you guys doing today? I'm Zoila, we're Industrial Rhythm, and right now what I want to do is I want to get everyone involved, so I want everyone to clap along with me. You ready? Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. Keep that going now, all right? You guys ready? There we go.
Yes, I will. That was just phenomenal. Thank you so much, Zoila. Thank you, everybody on your team here.